RowPaint.com is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. It's Coach Leon Rice and Andy Rowe.
Oh no. Want to just paint my house?
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
It's time for the Tyson Degenhart Show with Boise State basketball star Tyson Degenhart, sponsored by Idaho Central Credit Union. Find a branch near you or get more information at iccu.com. Now, here's Tyson Degenhart with BJ Rains for another edition of the Tyson Degenhart Show on Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome on in the Tyson Degenhart Show. What is this, episode 9, episode 10? We're rolling along here, Tyson. It's going pretty quick, man. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing great, man. We got Game 7 on TV. We got Hank Bachmeier and Louisiana Tech. We got my Blues hockey. We got a lot of sports going on tonight, man, but pumped for tonight's show, and we got a couple of good guests scheduled tonight.
Absolutely. We got should be an all-league type player this year, and then recently promoted assistant coach, so really excited to have both of them on the show tonight.
Chibuzo Agbo. We got David Moats as well. We'll get to Buzo here in just a couple of minutes, but crazy to believe, but 2 weeks from right now, man, we'll be in the second half of your first game against Vanguard. 2 weeks from tonight, the first game. How are things going? You guys had the private scrimmage against Cal. You have another scrimmage against Weber State coming up. How are things going right now? 2 weeks till the season starts.
They're good. You know, we had a good practice today, and we'll continue to get ready for Weber State on Saturday, and then after that, it's just about fine-tuning everything, and then sooner than we know it, we'll be playing on November 7th. So getting really excited to play in front of the fans and have a good crowd and to finally get the season off and rolling. Now,
Kareem the Dream reminding me the NBA season started tonight as well. They're raising the banner there in Denver. So, great time. I would argue March, because you have spring training and baseball getting ready to start. You have March Madness. You have the Masters. I would argue March, but October is a pretty darn good sports month as well.
No, I agree. I think March is probably number one, and then October is probably number 2. And so it's a very exciting time in the sports world, that's for sure.
Now, when I told you in the pre-show meeting, which was, man, we spent hours getting ready for the show tonight, Tyson, our pre-show meeting, I mentioned the fact that you were 2 weeks away from playing a real game, and you kind of went, wow. I mean, at the beginning of practices and things in the summer, it probably seems so far away, but now to be 2 weeks away from a game, it's coming up here pretty quick.
Yeah, you know, when you're grinding in practice each and every day, the days kind of go by, and you don't really realize how close you are to the season. And when October starts, when those official practices start, you're like, oh, you have so much time. And then now we're 2 weeks away, and it feels like we have no time. So just sneaks up on you, but we're really excited to see what we can do this year.
We want people's comments. We want their questions. If you're watching on Facebook like Ramiro is, we appreciate you, man. But if you can jump over to the YouTube channel, that's the easiest way to chat and get things going. So if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Tyson's Twitter account or on Facebook, we would appreciate you if you could jump over to the YouTube channel for the show tonight. It is just youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. That's the easiest way to check it out, and then we can get your comments on the screen there. Nathaniel Wilder can't spell buckets without Buzo, so he's excited to be chatting with him here shortly. Kareem the Dream agreeing with that. let's see here. I guess we'll go straight into a couple quick questions before we get to Buzo. Tyson, do people tell you Drew Timmy's game? Does that remind him of yours?
I've seen a.
Oh, he's making a joke. He said, do you think people tell Drew Timmy that his game reminds them of yours?
Oh, it's probably the other way around. I think more people tell me my game looks like Drew Timmy's than that other way around. But to even be in the same conversation as him is pretty cool.
All right, so we can't get too specific on the Cal scrimmage here. There are some rules. Kareem the Dream asking, how did the scrimmage go? Any details you can give out? You can't say it, but there were some reports out there on social media that you guys won the game by about 15 points or so. So as much as you can tell us, how do you think that went for you guys, getting to finally play somebody else and having it be kind of a Pac-12 quality team, which I assume was a step up from the trip to Canada?
Absolutely. I think Cal is going to be a great team in the Pac-12. Coach Madsen's a really great coach, and they have some great players on their team. And it was a great challenge for us, and really, really liked what we did in the second half and hoping to build off that performance.
All right, let's not waste any more of our guest time. He was early. We appreciate that. We've had guys like Keen showing up late, and here's Buzo 10 minutes early. We appreciate that. So we will jump right into it. Welcome in our guest, man.
Yeah, so I'd like to welcome on one of our 3 returning starters from last year's team, transfer from Texas Tech. I want to introduce Chibuzo Agbo, and just want to thank you for being on the show tonight, man.
What's going on? Appreciate you having me, Deggy.
Yeah, first question. How do you feel like your game's coming around, this time of the year? I mean, I've seen it in practice. What do you want the fans to know how things are going for you?
I feel like I've just had a really good offseason, just working on different aspects of my game, attacking the bucket, working on my Barkley. I really feel like, almost like last year was a freshman year for me, just because that's the first time I really had a season to build off of, averaging more than 4 to 6 minutes a game and really actually playing. So I think I just had a lot to build off of last year. I'm really excited for this season.
Absolutely. I think, even myself, and I know a lot of people on that team have seen the vast improvement. Do you watch a lot of film in the offseason to kind of work on some things, or do you just kind of know from just being in the games?
A lot of knowing, but as well, just, we have a great coaching staff. I've sat down a lot with TD, Coach Derrier, watched a lot of film, and just seeked a lot of feedback and been open to feedback too from the coaching staff, which I think has helped a lot.
Absolutely. I think one thing that I've noticed is you're playing a lot better in the pick and roll. You've been put in a lot more situations like that, and you built off of it, as well as your Barkley. I think your Barkley is a very underrated portion of your game. And do you want to explain kind of what a Barkley is to our viewers who may not know?
Yeah, Barkley, just getting in the post. Coaching staff wants to take high-level shots, so a little left or right jump hook. A lot of times, we'll get fouled in there, so it's an easy way to get foul shots up too. So,
absolutely, I think you're almost honestly better with your left hand. It seems like every left-hand layup you throw up in practice goes in.
Yeah, it feels like it right now.
You've been working on that, and we see it, and we're really excited. So, what did you think of your quote unquote freshman year at Boise State? Like, how did you feel it went? What were some highs? What were some lows? Just kind of talk us through that.
There was definitely a lot of highs. I just loved last year's team. We're such an unselfish group, and we just played together. And every time we were in the extra mile, it just felt like almost magical, just being out there on the floor. So it was a great experience for me. I'd say one of my biggest lows, obviously starting off the season, I think I was averaging more fouls than I was points. But I was definitely proud of myself, because it took a lot of mental fortitude to remain positive and get through that, and realizing, there was never going to be a lower point in my college basketball career than those couple of games right there. So realizing it was all up from there was definitely a good aspect for me to think about.
How much better do you think you can be this year? And you mentioned the way it started and the fouls, and a couple of those games you just couldn't buy a bucket there, and then you obviously got rolling as the season went along. But I mean, having that whole year behind you, now knowing the type of player you are, and your teammates knowing the type of player you are from game one, I would assume just your confidence level. I mean, it's got to be you had a solid year last year, but I have to assume that there's a lot more you think you can get to this year.
Right. I feel like I've improved so much. And, I feel like I'm a 3-level scorer now, understanding, the teammates I'm playing with, how to make them better, how they can make me better. I think it's just all going to come around, full around the season.
If you do have a question for Buzo, we got him for about 15 more minutes. So jump on in the YouTube chat. We'll get to that. The ICCU YouTube chat. We haven't mentioned that today. We should mention Tyson, the show, courtesy of our sponsor, Idaho Central Credit Union. We'll tell you more about them later. Chad says Buzo, the 4-point play god. I'm still thinking back. Was it the UNLV game where you had back-to-back corner threes and you got fouled and made them both? I mean, I guess that's one thing people are going to be looking for this year, but I guess there's nothing they can do about it with your shot. I mean, you still think that's going to be the same things? You mentioned getting fouled a lot in the post. I would assume that jump shot, you're going to be earning some more fouls as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think so. With the 4-point plays, I don't really know. I just feel like a lot of people get my landing space when I shoot the three. So I feel like the coaching staffs are going to talk about that a little bit more in my player evaluation before games. Don't foul them. So I hope they still do it, but
wasn't that the Northwestern game where there was one they didn't call?
Right. Yeah. The ref actually told me during halftime we came out, he said, I missed that call. And I was like, it's all right as long as we get it back.
Yeah, nice of him to say that. I'm sure it really helped in the moment there. But I'll turn it back over to Tyson here in a second. But just tell us about Tyson, man. How's his game looking? We know he's slimmed down a little bit, and we're hearing more about him playing out on the perimeter. And I know his shooting percentage last year wasn't where he thought it could have been. And there's been a lot of talk about him improving. He was. I guess I'm selfish. I guess I'm biased, but he was my vote for preseason player of the year in the conference. And I know that went to Isaiah Stevens. But tell us about how Tyson's looking.
Man, Tyson's looking great every day, just doing little things. He was phenomenal in his post game last year, and it's the same, even better this year. You're talking about the 3-point percentage. Every day during practice, he was shooting it great. So that was just like, it's going to take care of itself. We know he's going to have a great shooting year. Along with just being a team leader, he's a guy who wants to do the right thing every day. He's always a voice in our freshmen's ear, trying to get us to respond right. That's a big theme this year for us, is response and how we come back from things and adversity. He's just been a great leader.
Well, I'll turn it over to you, Tyson. You both can answer this question, though. Caden says, who's going to stroke it from deep better out of you two this year? Who's going to have the better little friendly competition on the percentage there?
I think we're both going to shoot it great. Tyson's always getting the reps up before and after practice. It's going to fall. And I'm just going to keep letting it go. And I think I'm going to shoot well, too.
I think we could both be 40-plus percenters. I think that, along with 12. And we have some guys that can really shoot it on our team. And I'm excited to see where those percentages can go. So on the show, we like to talk a little bit about your past and how you kind of ended up at Boise State. And take us back to where you grew up and kind of how you got into basketball and your high school days, and just kind of go up through that.
Yeah, right. So I'm from San Diego, born and raised all my life. Up until coming out of high school, I committed to Texas Tech. I played there for 2 years. I'll go back to high school. How I started playing basketball was I kept playing basketball, and I was also playing football when I was younger, but I kept getting hurt. So my dad said, let's stop playing football for a while. And once I stopped playing football, I just fell in love with basketball. There was always a basketball in my hand. I used to take one to school every day, kind of just typical, walking down the hallway, dribbling a basketball. But yeah, I went to St. Augustine High School in San Diego. Shout out to Coach Hopt. Love him. That he was a big mentor for me, more than just a coach to me. Thankful for everything he did for me there. I feel like I had a pretty good high school career. Could have been better. We won CIF San Diego my freshman year, but we didn't win anything after that. So definitely could have had a better high school career. Yeah, San Diego, I'm from North County, so a little bit north of PB, but definitely love Pacific Beach. So after high school, went to Texas Tech for 2 years, played for Mark Adams, and I also played for Chris Beard. And then I transferred and ended up at Boise State.
That's, I think there was you mentioned your high school coach. I think there was an article written, and he may have been the one being interviewed, but he talked about when you as a player, like you have a perfection paranoia. Is that the right guy? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit last year. I talked about that with Jordan in an interview. But I don't think I'm like that anymore. I think I'm more tactical in how I go about it this year and how I put my work in.
Absolutely. So Talk us through that transfer portal window when you decided to transfer out from Texas Tech. What was that like going through the recruiting process again, and how different was it from the first time to the second?
Right. It was very different the second time. I think it was better for me just because I know what I'm looking for now. The first time around when you're getting recruited, you're an 18-year-old kid. You're just excited to be in the process. You're just excited to make it to the next level. So you'll believe anything people say to you, and you don't know what to really watch out for or what to look for to find your right fit. This time around, what was very important to me was I knew I needed to play, and I knew I needed some coaches that were really going to develop me and give me a chance to develop. And going through it again, I really need coaches I could trust. So, I went to my high school coach, Coach Hop, and I said, Coach, here are the schools I like. What do you think about these coaches? And along the way, he said, I really like Coach Rice and Coach Burns. They have a great track record developing guys and, telling the truth in their recruiting. And they were already one of my top schools, so I was like, I'm going to go visit and see how I like it. When I visited, I just fell in love, and I knew I was going to commit.
And I believe New Mexico was one of your finalists too, right?
Yeah, New Mexico.
What was that like going and playing at the Pit as a Boise, as a member of Boise State when you could have at one point been there playing for New Mexico?
Mm-hmm. Right. I think I probably the fans don't care as much as the other team, but I think it had a little added juice for them. Like, here's a guy who chose another program over us. We should definitely go beat them tonight.
How much did NIL factor in too? I know it's a little different out of high school, but I feel like in the transfer portal, maybe guys at that point are either looking for that or that becomes a bigger factor. We know on your commitment, you were one of the first, I think, in terms of kind of doing it where you didn't have Boise State on your commitment thing because you had, I believe, Matt Bauscher Real Estate and a couple companies on the commitment itself, and so that was kind of the first is becoming a new wave of. I think you committed to Boise and not Boise State with how the rules were and stuff. But what was that part like, and was that how big of a factor when you were talking to schools and what were they? New Mexico, Nevada. I mean, how big of a deal was that? Even whether you were asking or not, just schools talking about NIL and what they could offer. I mean, is that a big part of the recruiting game now?
Yeah, definitely. You know how it is in this new era we have, NILs around for everybody. And during my commitment, it wasn't my top priority because I feel like I was a little bit ahead of it in the aspect of knowing that there's guys who are going to certain schools to get paid, and in the end, it's gonna, drop their stock, or they're not gonna perform as well because they didn't pick the right fit, or they're not happy with they are because just maybe they don't like the coaches or something. But I think I picked the right school for me. NIL is good. Everything's going good. With the way these coaches are coaching me and everything, I have the ability to even make my stock rise even more.
What's that like too? Because some guys maybe think they're going to be more valued in the transfer portal than they are. They enter there and maybe the schools they think are going to reach out don't. You obviously had the high school pedigree and the rankings and things there, but as you said, you really didn't have the production at Texas Tech. It was only a year, a couple of years, so it wasn't like it was a huge deal. But was there any, what level were you thinking? Were you thinking Mountain West type school when you went in the portal to begin with? Were you hoping that there was other Power 5 opportunities? And then when you started to see the interest from some of these schools, were you happy with kind of how it all ended up?
Oh yeah, I'm very happy with how it all ended up. I was looking for coaches who were willing to commit to me just as I was willing to commit to them, which is why I think it really worked out.
Absolutely. I want to talk about Texas Tech a little bit more. What's like one big thing that you really learned from Texas Tech in that like Sweet 16 run that you were a part of your sophomore year that really could help us kind of get over the hump this year?
I think just players got to play in big moments. I think what made our team so special the Sweet 16 year I was at Tech was we just had a lot of guys who really cared about each other and who really go out there and just hoop. And when it was time for players to play and time for players to perform, you can have the best coaching staff, the best facilities, but when it comes down to it, players just need to show out when it's time.
Absolutely. What do you think the ceiling is for our team? Like, I know there's a lot of talk about, how Coach Rice wants to get over that hump, get that first win, but what do you think our ceiling is?
Oh man, I think we can really make a run. And I'm not just saying that, I've been around a while. It's my 4th year in college basketball. I played on a lot of good teams, and I think we're going to be special. I don't want to, get the expectations, super high. Everybody's so excited, but I think we're going to be good for sure.
What it's a couple questions here. Folks were wondering what I know every game is big, but what non-conference games you guys circling right now in terms of games you're excited about early in the season?
Right. I think Clemson's going to be a fun one. They're going to have a big time atmosphere, big name school, Power 5, as well as the ESPN Invitational. In Orlando, that's going to be definitely fun. It's going to be a huge stage for us, and it's very early too. So just an early test, see what we're made of.
I think for me, like obviously the Clemson game, the Orlando trip, and then for me personally, just the Spokane trip to play Washington State, just to go back home. And I don't know if you know this yet, Booze, but we'll go over to my house for team dinner, and it'll be cool. Yeah, and it's cool because there's only like 5 guys who did it from the 2 teams prior, so a lot of new guys get to see the house and have my mom cook for them and get to go down and play the arcade in the basement. So
See, this is the leadership stuff I'm talking about right here. A leader taking us over to his house, having us get a good meal. That's what they're supposed to do.
You don't do that. Why don't you do that in San Diego then? Come on, Buzo.
I have to see a good leader inspiring me.
There you go.
What? Speaking of food, Kareem the Dream wants to know your favorite food spot in Boise.
Ooh, favorite food spot in Boise. Right now, I'm gonna have to say Burger Belly. It's really good. It's
seems like that's a favorite spot on the team. I think Keen said that too.
Yeah, especially during the summer. But it's probably not the healthiest thing to be eating during the season.
What's your go-to order there?
I get a double, and I keep it simple. So I do ketchup and cheese, and that's it. Nothing else on the burger. And I'll get a fry, and then hope Tyler's not listening, but I'll get an Oreo shake every once in a while.
Good answer.
Speaking of double, we got In-N-Out opening up in like 2 weeks out there by the Village. So
that's what I heard.
Yeah. What Kyle says, who's the toughest defender in practice? Who's bodying it up?
I'd say Omar. Omar is blocking a lot of stuff at the rim. He's a real rim protector. You're driving down the lane, you see Omar up there. You either got to pass it or you really got to get it high up there on the backboard. So I'd definitely say Omar.
It's nice to have a guy on your team that can just go up and block shots like that. It makes on-ball defense a little bit easier knowing someone can go up and block one off the top of the square.
I hate to ask this question to both of you guys because I know it's like not a fair question, but that's what all fans are doing. That's what media is doing. Like it just seems like that Omar is kind of the replacement for Naj, and I know they're 2 totally different type of players in their different ways. What does Omar bring? Not to say who's better, but in terms of what Omar brings to the table, how are they similar? How are they different? You think?
I'd say Najee shoots the 3 ball a little bit better. Omar is definitely he's definitely more of a true big. He can still handle the ball really well and make plays on the outside, but his touch inside and him attacking the rim is really good. So that's why I mean that sense of he's more of a true big. But yeah, I'd say they're similar in the way they go get off the backboard and block stuff.
I also think they're very similar in the energy they bring. They just bring this like joy to the game, and you always see them smiling, like no matter what's going on, they're always smiling, always having a great attitude. And something that's really helped me just, when things aren't going my way, I see them smiling over there, and it just always lightens up my mood, especially during practice.
What I know I think the over under in the open scrimmage for fans was like 15 that I heard Burns say stick hand. When we talked to Leon like last week, he said maybe the offense was a little ahead of the defense. Maybe Coach Duryea was feeling a little better about things. How's the defense coming along? Does Coach Burns have much of a voice these days? Or
Coach Burns always got a voice, but our defense is definitely coming. Just a little communication here and there, talking on switches and stuff like that. And I think our defense is going to be good too, though. We're a scrappy team.
I think it's just about getting reps in the same lineups. We obviously have a lot of new guys, and we're just trying to get them up to speed. And we have an idea on everything that we do. It's just about sharpening it and making sure we're communicating well and making sure everything, we're doing everything in our power to get stops on defense.
We got about 5 minutes, maybe less than 5 minutes left with Buzo here. If you have a final question, get it in the YouTube chat, and we'll get it asked to him before we transition into Coach Moats here in a couple of minutes. But in terms of anybody else you want to mention, Buzo, Cam Martin, I know, has excited some folks with what he can do. We saw the freshman Andrew Meadow with the 31 points up there in Canada. maybe it's a Keene or a Jace Whiting. Who's a guy maybe that we're either not talking about a ton that's going to surprise people, or just a newcomer that you think is going to have a key role for you guys?
Right. I think definitely, like you just said, Cam, real good stretch big. He's very dominant down there in the post, but as well, he will stretch the D. He's good at shooting the three. He's got a really good shot fake that creates for him and others, as well as Roddy. Roddy, a very good point guard. He's really quick, gets to the rim a lot, but can also facilitate and get others buckets. So I think they're both going to be very good. But just this team in general is so talented, top to bottom. From our returners to guys stuck around, to the freshmen who have come in, like everybody can play.
You think people are still sleeping on you a little bit, Buzo? I mean, I know they could only pick two, but obviously Tyson and Max got picked to go down to Vegas for media days. Tyson got, picked preseason on the first team. Do you feel like you're being undervalued a little bit maybe, and that, if that maybe people are sleeping on you a little bit personally going into this year?
Oh, I'm sure, but that's how it goes sometimes, and so maybe I just didn't deserve it yet. Maybe I just gotta go do something worthy of that, So, but I'm just ready for the season. I'm really not too worried about it. I'm just ready for us to win.
Lisa says, who's going to have the best dunks this season?
Omar probably.
Yeah,
he gets up there.
That's what I was going to say.
He caught a body today in practice.
That was impressive. Pick and roll, a little bounce pass, just catches it, goes straight up, and he just gets so quick off the ground. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. I do want to ask you, Booze. BJ did bring up Canada. What did you think of the Canada trip? Because I know, it was a very big learning experience for a lot of us. I want to know your thoughts on it and what you enjoyed about it.
I just thought it was fun to be with the team. Like, I feel like we're a group that bonded very early. We just like being around each other a lot. So it was just fun to be there with you guys, as well as that was my first time really being out the country. I live like 20 minutes from the border, so I've been to Mexico. But really like taking a trip outside the country and going somewhere else. That was my first time. So just seeing the world too and experiencing life, that was a good time.
Now, maybe I'm wrong and I don't want to put you on blast here, but if I remember right, you weren't a huge fan of walking over that bridge.
Nah, not at all. It was a little too wobbly for me.
It was wobbly.
Let's see here. We'll wrap this up. Kason Briggs says definitely sleeping on Buzo, best shot in the Mountain West. A lot of other folks so stoked for the season. Tyson, why don't you, if you got anything else, you can go for it. If not, go for your signature question, and then we'll bring on Coach Moats.
Yeah. Last question for you. It's a question I ask everyone that comes on the show. I probably know your answer. You may have mentioned him earlier, but I ask who in your life has made the biggest impact on you besides your close friends and family?
Yeah, just like I was talking about Coach Hop, just such a earlier, I always thought ball is life, going to school like ball is life. He just, by the way he lived life and the way he affected people and how selfless he was, he taught me so much more than that. I just how we do our 5 H's, Tyson, in the locker room. I told this story because he was one of my heroes. There was a day, a 5-star got kicked out of our school, and he always had his little issues going on. But that was the first time I ever seen Coach Hop cry, because he took me, to school and home every day because we lived so close. And that was the first time I had seen Coach Hop cry ever. And he wasn't crying because he had just lost a really good player and maybe our team wasn't going to be as good. It was because he couldn't help him as a young man anymore and just become better. So that really stuck out to me. And I just appreciate everything he's done for me. And he still encourages me and talks to me all the time and tells me he loves me. So that's definitely the biggest hero I have outside of my friends and family.
Absolutely. I need to meet this guy. When we go down to San Diego, you need to introduce me to him because he sounds like an incredible human being and definitely has had an impact on you. So, Buzo.
Who are your sports teams before we let you go? We mentioned this being a big sports month. I know San Diego obviously lost the Chargers, but who are your sports teams? You follow any professional sports teams?
I don't really watch sports outside of basketball. And even with the NBA, I really watch more of college basketball.
Okay.
But I know Deggy and them love baseball and hockey and things like that. It's just not for me.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Booze. Really appreciate your time and hoping everyone enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more. And we're excited to get the season starting in 2 weeks.
Yep. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me. And thank you for everybody who's watching right now and great questions. Appreciate it.
I was going to say, Buzo, what I know you mentioned Tyson as a basketball player. How is he as a podcast host here?
Hey, he's great. I mean, consistently doing this is obviously dedication, as well as having it, your questions planned out ahead, the professional way you address people and the questions you ask. I think you do a really good job. So yeah,
Appreciate that.
There you go. Appreciate it, Buzo. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Thanks, Buzo. See you soon.
There he is, Chibuzo Agbo joining us, and great stuff there, man. That was fun to catch up with him.
He's an incredible human being. There's a story. I don't know. We probably should have brought this up, but he was on his visit, and we were coming home from dinner, and we saw these kids over at the jump off of Myrtle Street, and like, hey, because they recognized me, and he was like, hey, you got to go over there, and so we went and hung out with them, and it was just like one of those moments where like, this is a really, really good human being and a guy that you always want in your team, and just love having him on the team, and it makes a huge impact. So,
by the way, 4-2 Diamondbacks in the 7th inning. Crazy that the Arizona Diamondbacks were trying to. Didn't Mad Dog Russo say he'd retire if the Diamondbacks won these 2 games? So he may have to, but Kyle Schwarber's up as the tying run, so we'll keep track of that. What we have to before we get to David Moes, we got 2 sponsors we got to thank here as we transition to the halfway point here of the show. Idaho Central Credit Union. There, you got more gear, man. Every time I see you, you got something new from Idaho Central Credit Union. You're sporting the little zip up there.
I've worn this before.
Okay,
I promise you, I have. There was one night in my house it was just really, really cold in here, and so I threw on a little long sleeves. So, yeah. But
well, tell us about ICCU, man.
Man, they're the best financial institution you could ask for. There's plenty of locations all around the Treasure Valley area. Great savings account, great checking accounts. I started to move my money over there, coming here now, and so I encourage all of you to do so. And I know PJ, you've moved your money over there, and
yes,
I know a lot of Idahoans do, and it's well worth it. So go make sure to check out Idaho Central Credit Union.
The app is very easy to use, and we're very appreciative. One of our major sponsors at Bronco Nation News. We're very thankful that they've been able to make this work with you, that we can do this show, and so we're very appreciative of our friends over at Idaho Central Credit Union. Check them out, iccu.com. More than 500,000 Idahoans have made the switch to Idaho Central Credit Union, and you can as well. Again, iccu.com, and there's a branch pretty much on every corner, so make sure that you go check them out. And I was over at Lean Feast. I'm getting our man Mike Prater hooked up with Lean Feast now. They're feeding the football team now once a week. They're doing the basketball team. Tell us about Lean Feast, man. I saw Dave the other day, got some meals. You're not going to find a better spot. I know they're starting to hook up some certain softball player as well, I think, with some deals there at Lean Feast. So great spot for folks looking to get a healthy meal.
Absolutely. It's just quick and easy, 2 minutes in the microwave. If you don't know, they have breakfast. I'm a big fan of their breakfast. They have a nice little egg bite, hash brown, and turkey sausage. That's my go-to in the morning. They also have pancakes and egg whites. So I encourage you to go check out their breakfast. It's really easy, 2 minutes in the microwave, very high in nutrients, and thousands of different combinations for food. And so go check them out off of Eagle Road.
All right. The most serious question of the day here comes from Kay Foster. Do you call ICCU when you shoot a bank shot, Tyson?
I should, honestly. I might give Clark and Shelby a call after game and say, hey, you see that bank shot?
There you go. I like that. Hey, let's tell us before we bring him on. I'm going to leave him backstage for a second so he can't respond. But tell folks about David Moats. And I know that there's been a lot of fans, actually. I'm not kidding. A lot of people for a while have been saying, got to get Moats on the show. And we finally talked to his agent. We finally got him to agree to the compensation level. It took 9 episodes, but we got David Moats coming on. Tell us about David.
Man, he's just one of the most incredible human beings you could ever ask for on a staff. I think he's been in 2 or 3 different job titles since I've been here. He was the Dobo and then worked his way all the way up to assistant coach. And he works very hard, and he's very deserving of everything that he's gotten. And he's kind of the glue of the coaching staff in a way. And can't thank him enough for what he does with the program. And so I'd like to welcome on assistant coach David Moats. Red, thank you for joining the show.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
What makes you so popular in like the Twitter community that everyone's asking for you to come on the show?
Oh, I get their Venmos and DMs them some money, so make sure my ratings go up.
Absolutely. Do you think it's partially that you run the camps in the summer and you always see the parents, and is that part of it too?
I make sure to get the kids some Airheads here and there, get them some granola bars, make sure their parents are happy. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So kind of want to jump in right away. Like what do you think of our team this year? Because I know there's a lot of hype around it. What are your thoughts?
Love our team. Love the dudes, love our staff. That's what makes it so fun, is just being around every day at practice. We always talk about it as a staff, is just getting to go to practice and hang around you guys, and anything we address, you guys come out the next day and that's your point of emphasis, and you guys get better every single day. And we got workers, we got guys in the gym all day getting shots up, guys getting shots up after. We got just such a good group. It's so easy to be around, and we got a mixture of old vets and young guys, and old vets leading these young guys along and finding their groove. And it's awesome. It's fun.
Would you consider me an old vet? I think I'm the 8th oldest on the team. Would you still consider me an old vet?
You're an old vet for sure. I've known you for 4 or 5 years now. You're an old vet.
It's been a long time. I remember you sent me my flight itinerary for my official visit, and that was
we ate breakfast at Black Bear Diner.
Black Bear Diner. Yes,
that's right.
That was
a year.
That was an early morning flight. I definitely took a nice long nap after that.
That's right. No.
Yeah. Are you wearing the Chibuzo Agbo shirt?
I had to.
Oh man,
I knew the guest. Yeah, this is one of my favorites back.
It's one of my favorite shirts. Just can't. I miss Naj a lot, man. I've been texting with him, and seems like he's doing well. He's been trying to become a TikTok star, it seems like, and but just can't wait to see him when he comes back.
For sure, he's doing well. He's doing well overseas. We have a ton of guys right now who are killing it overseas. It's awesome.
Yeah. Sam has a question. It's who's the strongest coach in the program?
Ooh, biased, but let me rank them really fast. Let me rank them. Me, I've been getting in there like crazy. I'm on the juice, so that's an easy one. I'm well above the rest. Then you have to go Leon, close second. And he's my boss, so I kind of have to say that. And then we got to go down the line of Lex, former player. Then we probably get to Tim Duryea, who's my lifting partner, and he's been climbing the ranks. Then probably Larry Eustace. He has that old man strength. And then we get into the realm of like a Coach Burns or someone like that at the bottom, who's doing a lot of more cardio, so his strength is just dwindling.
I was going to ask. I thought Coach Burns would be a little higher on there.
He said, "Larry, you stay, Coach Larry."
Numbers don't lie.
I got to tell you a quick story, Tyson. We were in San Diego a couple years ago. It might have been the year you guys had to play 2 games there a year because of COVID. And I'm thinking, I got my work done. I'm like, it's a nice day. I'm gonna go down to the pool. I'm it's an off day. I'm not working. I'm gonna go down to the pool for a little bit. And I go down to the pool and I get in there and I look over and the coaches are doing a workout, and they're over doing this like outdoor workout. Whitmer's got them going, and Moats is out there shirtless, just getting after it. And I took a picture of some sort. I forget why. I may or may have taken a picture just to have for blackmail purposes later or something. And at some point later that night, I get a text or the next day, a text from Moats. Like he wanted to send that to his wife or whatever, that he was working out, on the trip or whatever. He's like, "Can I get that picture by chance? I want to send that." So he not only does he work out, he likes to make it known too, Moats.
Hey, brownie points. Get it.
You guys get after it, though. You coaches have your workouts. I remember one time in like Albuquerque, you guys were saw John Higgins in the gym there, and you guys were working out. And you guys get after it in the gym pretty much as much as you can.
You have to, because the buffets, the guys eat all this food, and so we're sitting there. We have breakfast buffet, we have lunch, we eat way too much. But in San Diego, I could only go shirtless for about 5 minutes. My sunburn was coming on strong, so I had to get a photo.
You need to pull me into the gym next time you guys are going in there. I definitely need to jump in there with you guys.
We got you. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's funny. Like you go into the weight room now, you see Red and TD together, and then you'll see Bernie working out, and you'll see Coach Leon doing his pull-ups, and then I know Bernie's in there, and you see Larry walk on the treadmill every once in a while, and Lex is always in there giving us crap about how much weight we're lifting or whatever. But it's always fun seeing you guys in the weight room, and you guys are grinding like us. You're obviously not playing, but you guys are getting in the weight room. You're obviously working together to get the right practice plan and get us ready to go for games. And that's something I appreciate about you guys, is you guys always put your best foot forward in everything you guys do. So appreciate that.
And that's what makes it fun. Like, our staff likes each other and likes to hang out and likes to lift together and likes to golf together and likes to invite each other over and be, families together. And so that, if you can't do that together, we can't ever coach you guys. Like, it makes total sense.
I'm going to play the short, condensed 15-second version here real quick, but I want to get your thoughts on Leon Rice, the TV commercial star.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Well, what do you make of Coach Rice there, Moats?
He's a natural. He could quit today. He could quit coaching and just get into acting. But he's always said that. Like, in the office, he'll make sure. I've watched that commercial from his phone about 10 times.
That doesn't surprise me. I'm sure he was very proud of that.
Yeah.
I may or may not have gotten the text with that at some point as well. But I wonder how many takes that took him, though. Did he tell you how long they had to film that?
One take wonder, always.
So that's how he rolls. What's your favorite Coach Rice saying? I know you've known him for a long time, but what's your favorite Coach Rice saying? He has a lot.
He does have a lot. Mine I appreciate is if you don't have a dog or his dogs don't like you, then there's something wrong with you. There's something off there. We got to watch out for that guy. And so as a staff, we got to watch out for that guy. If his dogs don't like you or you don't have a dog, that's marked in our book as something like, maybe steer clear of that guy.
I don't know if I've met anyone that Stella and Zara don't like.
True.
There's probably.
Although apparently Mark Few was telling us at Mountain West Media Days that Leon was trying to kick Few's dog out of Few's place.
Yeah, I was watching that, so I don't know what that story was about.
We'll have to ask Coach about that. That's interesting.
Yeah. By the way, Derek says joining in late, but he said Moats rocking the Buzo Nas shirt. He loves it there. And then Lisa says cool shirt as well. So Tyson, you've got NIL deals with literally every company out there. Do you have your own T-shirt line?
I don't, but I've definitely thought about it. Definitely something I'll look at in the future, but we'll see. Red, so part of this show is to get to know you a little bit better. So I know you're from a very lonely state of Wyoming, but so just kind of talk us through your upbringing, how you kind of got to college coaching and how you ended up at Boise State.
Yeah, I'm from a town called Guernsey, Wyoming. It's an hour and a half north of Cheyenne, just a tiny little town. And played all sports there and kind of went from there. Played JUCO for 2 years at Northwest College, and then went the student manager route. And that's a route, I had to do because, I wasn't good enough to play at a high level. So I ended up going to University of Wyoming, was a student manager there for 2 years, and just fell in love with it. Fell in love with being with a good staff and players, and got the opportunity to go from there to the University of Florida. And I was a GA there, and we had an Elite Eight and a Final Four run there. So two unbelievable years. And then from there got to move back out west to Weber State and was there 3 years and had an awesome 3 years. And then got the job up here at Boise State. And this is year 7 already here at Boise State. So been a good run.
Go ahead. I was just going to say quickly, I don't think I've ever told you this story, but I was a manager for my high school team, and my high school coach knew the staff at Kansas very well when it was still Roy Williams. It was I can't remember his first name, Coach Halliday, who went with Roy Williams to UNC, and he ran the summer camps there. And I got an invitation to work as a manager, camp counselor, whatever, at the KU summer camp, and it was basically a tryout, so to speak. But I actually was at one point wanting to be a manager at Kansas, and I was on track, I think, to do that. They had a questionnaire you had to fill out at the camp, and one of the questions had something to do with being a fan of Kansas, and I put yes. And I later found out that if you put yes, you were right away they took your entry and you were just done, because they wanted people that wanted to be coaches, people that wanted to do different things. And if you were just doing it because you were a fan of Kansas, you were eliminated. So I put the wrong answer down there, was not considered, ended up writing for the school paper and started my journalism career that way. But if I had gotten on staff, that would have been Bill Self's first year, I believe, or second year at Kansas. I was trying to originally get on staff as a manager, and who knows, we may have been on opposite sidelines at some point, Moats.
That would have been something. That would have been awesome.
But the manager, I think a lot of times in high school, the manager, people get on the manager or whatever, but it was like, that was kind of, that's a lot of people that get into coaching. There's some famous stories of famous coaches out there that you have to work your way up. And being a manager, particularly at the college level, allows you the opportunity to learn from like some of the coaches you got to learn from. And a lot of coaches that aren't players at the collegiate level or don't make it where they want to get start off literally at the lowest level of bringing guys cups of water and doing other things. And you just have to, doing laundry, all that stuff. But you were able to obviously get some connections made and learn from afar and be a part and see kind of how it all goes. And that obviously paid off for you.
And going back to a Coach Rice quote, he always says, be a star in your role. And I think I've kind of embodied that way before, I knew Coach Rice, but it was so big time when I was at the University of Wyoming, if coach gave me a task of putting the shoes out. And so I was so happy I, did that, or get them water. And I just wanted to be really, really, really good at like doing that small stuff. And yeah, it just kind of built, and I just kind of got more and more tasks along the way, and then got to Florida, and I was in charge of post-game meals on the road. And I had everything written out and them on every seat, and was just so excited that I got that job done, and there's no complaints, and then slowly started building, and I take pride in that fact.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that, or maybe don't know that about you. I mean, that was the Horford, Noah, all those teams, right?
That was after him. That was after
okay.
him. That was Eric Murphy, Dorian Finney-Smith. That crew. Yeah, Mike Rosario.
But I mean, what was that? And working with the coaching staff there and Billy Donovan and all that. I mean, what was that like for you in terms of really kind of helping you take that next step in your career? I mean, you got to, as you said, make the run in the tournament and do some things at your age that was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that was literally dream come true. I mean, coming from Guernsey, Wyoming, you watch this on TV, you don't even imagine doing something. And I just got sent there and was in a whirlwind and working, and such a good team. We had no NBA guys on that Final Four team, no draft picks, all seniors, like a group of seniors who played like really well together. One of the best defensive teams I've ever seen, like last year's team for us, Boise State, like that good defensive team. And all the coaching staff, like all three assistant coaches went on to become D1 head coaches since that point. The video coordinator is a big-time agent right now. The special assistant to the head coach is the head coach at the Oklahoma City Thunder. All of the GAs and the managers on that squad are assistants or ops people. We just had like 15 dudes who were like studs. And so same thing, just gelled and worked together. And that was awesome.
What's like one thing you can take away from being at UF that, you guys went to the Final Four? What's one thing that you can help us, bring to our team? Because you've seen a team go to the Final Four. I know Cam's seen a national championship team. Buzo's been a part of a Sweet 16. Like, what's one thing that we can, bring from that team that can really set us over the top?
They did not care about getting drafted. They did not care about what they were going to do after. They cared about winning and every single day winning at a high level. And we played, Jacksonville early on, North Florida early on, but they didn't look ahead and, let's go play Kentucky. They wanted to kill Jacksonville. Every single game was just, they were on a mission to do it together with their brothers. And there was 5 seniors and a lot of good young, like it was kind of an old young mix, and they just made up their mind early on, like, hey, we're doing this together. And it was awesome.
So now go towards your Weber State days. There was a comment. Was Dame Lillard on that team?
He left right before that. So he came back every summer to Weber and worked out. And so he was around all summer, but he wasn't on that team. So every summer when he came back, I just sat under the basket. I didn't have to move much because the ball would he'd make shots and rebound for him every night. And so Phil Beckner, who is one of his main trainers, came to Boise State, and that's kind of how I got the connection from Weber to Boise, was through Phil. But yeah, so he came back every summer and worked out there in Ogden.
What's like the most impressive thing about Damian Lillard? Like, he's not obviously the biggest guy in the room, but what's the one thing that kind of sets him over the top when it comes to NBA players? Because there's such a fine line between NBA and then overseas pro.
His preparation, by far. I've never seen someone who like gets done with a workout and then is like, okay, what do I have to eat? What do I have to get my legs ready for? Okay, I got to go home and I got to take a nap here. I got to eat here. I got to stretch here, and had everything scheduled and planned out. And so every morning when I'd wake up and open the gym for him, he was always there like 15, 20 minutes early because he did a stretching routine. He did all his prep work. He wanted everything kind of, regimented and to make sure his workout was really, really good that day.
How many times a day did you work out? 2 or 3?
Yeah. So in the summers, he always did like a morning session. And then right after that morning session, he went and lifted. And then he kind of took that middle section to eat, relax, train. And then in the afternoon, he either did another shooting session, or once in a while he'd play with our guys or do a session with like some of the point guards there at Weber State and kind of do something right there. So during the summer is always like a morning workout, lift, and then a later afternoon kind of shooting or something session.
That's so cool. I just can't imagine being right next to Damian Lillard and just watching him work. I'm sure it was just incredible, and you learned a lot from it. We do have some questions in the comments. Our friend RJ Keene asks, who's the most handsome coach on the staff?
Of course he'd ask that. I mean, I think it goes in the exact same order as the strongest, weirdly. I mean, I think that's Coach Burns kind of falls towards the bottom. I don't want to get into ranking it too much, but I think it's a similar kind of ranking there.
And then Lisa asked, do you still take care of the team traveling?
So we have had 2 ops guys these last 2 years who have taken over quite a bit of the duties. Now they're brand new, and I've been doing it for so long that I really try to help them and to be successful. And I'm an old vet in the game of ops, and so I know what works, know what doesn't. So work hand in hand with our ops guy to make sure, and our GA and our managers to make sure everything kind of goes smoothly. And hey, this works, this doesn't, and so giving them help with the plan and then let them execute it.
But what Tyson did mention it. You've had a couple different roles since you've been here. Maybe fill folks in about the new rule or whatever that allowed you to become take the title as assistant coach. And there was some things you couldn't do in terms of coaching on the court before that now you can. And what's kind of changed?
Yeah. So July 1st, it opened up. Now I can be on the court at any time and coach. So the rule was last year, if a coach was gone on the road recruiting or doing something, then you could only, you had 3 assistants who could really coach. And so I took some opportunities when a coach was gone to be able to get on the court and start developing my coaching voice and my skill set on the court. But now that July 1st happened, that just opened up where 2 more guys can be on the court and work out guys, shoot with guys, be able to run drills in practice. And so I think it's awesome. I think it's a way to get young coaches experience. I think it's a way to get young coaches their coaching voice with certain guys and help player development and give these guys the time needed in the gym And so that's been the biggest kind of hurdle some of these young coaches have, is they get stuck and they don't have experience because they can never get on the floor. And so now that this rule's in place, now, moving up anywhere, I can, I've had a year on the court. I've had a year developing guys. And so just naturally you'll get more experience.
And Lexus is doing that also, right? I don't think he has the title, but he's the other guy that can be out there.
He is, and he's an absolute stud with our point guards and with our guards and shooting wise. And it's been such a blessing to just be able to get more hands on these guys and be available for them.
I want to talk about this. I know probably most people don't know, but you focus on rebounding when it comes to the coaching staff. Like, that's your knowledge. That's where you're an expert at it. Kind of talk through what you do with each game, and so the fans can kind of get a little more know about what we look at when it comes to rebounding and what you do with it.
Yeah. So I study every single shot that goes up. So offense and defense shot, and make sure every single guy does their job. So it's either a yes or a no. You either did your job or you didn't. And each guy knows exactly what his job is when that shot goes up. Depending on where they are on the court, where their guy is, they know exactly what their job is. And so after a game, I'll go back and study each guy and that possession. And it's either a yes or a no. Did they do their job? Did they not do their job? And then create a big spreadsheet for it. And so our goal is Tyson Degenhart has to do his job 80% of the time. And so if we get a full team doing their job 80% of the time, we're going to be a pretty dang good rebounding team, defensively and offensively, and give us a really, really good chance to out-rebound our opponents. And that really leads to winning.
So every shot of the game, both on offense and defense, you're finding you find the shot, and then you're watching the five guys and giving them each a yes or a no.
It's a lot of rewinding and going forward. Did he take 2 steps? Did he take 3? Kind of figuring it out, and then clipping where they did it really good or didn't do it. And so after the game, I can sit down, say with Tyson, and say, hey, these are the 6 possessions you didn't do your job. Why not? How can we help you do your job? Were you tired? Did you not know what your job was? You have to go on the top side here, and kind of really breaking it down for Tyson, for these guys to get better.
I see. My journalism, it's turning in my head. I think this is going to have to be a story for Bronco Nation News. I like hearing this. Who's the highest? Do you know off the top of your head, like, who the highest ever ranked guy is you've had, or over the course of a season or something?
Yeah, there's been some 90%ers. Tyson's always does his job at a high level. That's why he's a great rebounder. Mladen Armush was a really, really good rebounder. And so that's what else it tracks is not, maybe Mladen only got 3 defensive rebounds, but the guy he was guarding never got an offensive rebound because he'd always box him out, always clear him from the board so our guards could go in and clear him out. And so he was always up there. Our 5 men are usually really, really good rebounders. Chandler Hutchinson was an absolute stud on the defensive end rebounding. He had more coast-to-coast baskets in college basketball than any other player because he went and got balls and it led to the break. And so it kind of leads and varies depending on the team.
Yeah, there's a comment here. He remembers that it's from Ramiro that remember Shaver had a ton of rebounds last year. To comment on that, I know you can build off of this, but if everyone does their job and we're supposed to build a rebounding pocket, so there's a half circle around the rim so that any ball that comes in there gets it, we would block out, and then most of the time the point guard on their team gets back, and that means Shave can just run through, grab the ball, and we start our break a lot quicker.
That's it. Our point guards are 2 guards. If their guy's getting back, they should, in essence, go get 8 to 10 rebounds. And so I get really, mad if they don't, because everyone else is in hand-to-hand combat. They're clearing their guys there. And so if we get a Marcus Shaver or athletic guard to go up and get rebounds, that's the best thing we can have going for us.
You guys do traditionally rank near the top of the country in rebounding. I'm checking the KenPom numbers here from last year. You guys were 17th in the country in defensive rebounding last year, only allowing opponents to get 24% offensive rebound percentage. And I know you guys have been, that's actually low. You guys have been top 10, I know, in the last couple of years. So obviously what you're doing is working there. For some reason, Tyson has ignored this question here from RJ Keene. He's wanting to know, Moats, is Tyson a nerd?
He is a nerd. That's why we get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a numbers guy. I'm a numbers guy. He's a nerd. Nerd's a good term.
Nerd's not a bad thing.
No,
it's never a bad thing to be a nerd.
No.
What Kyle wants to know, and maybe it's a couple guys, but which freshman's going to average the most points per game this season? But I guess in general, we saw what Andrew Meadow did in Canada. I know Chris Lockett's going to be a solid player, but is facing an uphill battle just with the position he plays and the guys in front of him for a lot of playing time this year. But just in general, what do you make of the freshmen and the transfers and just kind of some of these newcomers?
And you can't forget about RJ Keene being a freshman. Like he's in the freshman of the year running. I mean, he's going to be a freshman in the first. So we got three guys who are right there, and all of those guys have came in and improved. So like Chris Lockett the other day, he was making plays and getting in shape, and he has just grown. He impresses me so much every single day that I see him. And coming from Canada and to today, I told him the other day, I just was grinning so much. I was just so proud of him and the jumps he's made. He's such a good kid. But all of our guys, I mean, they come in and they're very coachable, and they're learning from Bernie, learning from Durrett, just trying to like soak in a ton of stuff and get. But it's exciting. We just got to keep. I mean, it's October 24th, and we're already wound up, ready to roll, and it's 2 weeks away already.
Now we do have a question from an Emily Rupp. Who is chiming in here with a question. Don't know who this could possibly be, but what's your favorite aspect of coaching? On the court coaching or making very detailed, unnecessary, obscure stat lists and projects?
Yeah, in the other room, I'm going to have to talk to this Emily Rupp and make sure she stays out of the old chat. But I'm telling, I'm a nerd too. I stay up at night and love KenPom and love projection and dive in and try to find ways to better us, and I like it. I don't know. I'm a college basketball fan. I don't know. I like it.
I gotta ask you, what's your favorite rebounding drill that we do? Because I know we do some, but I gotta hear the insight from you.
I enjoy. We swing it to the top and we contest, and then all five are hitting pads and just gonna go get. Just quick hitters like that. The other one, our game day, our pregame winch drill, just because me and Tyler Whitmer are on the top, and so all the strong guys who have pent up aggression against Tyler Whitmer for any sort of lifts, any sort of things he's done to you guys kind of choose that line and kind of crank on him. I get the nice guys. I get all my guys who kind of just touch my pad and go get the rebound. And so that one's one of my favorites.
Is Coach Rice the perfect guy to shoot the shots on the rebound drill because he just bricks it every time?
Yeah, he just tries to make it. And so then all of them are misses, and then we can go from there.
You know what my favorite is the when you put the bubble on the rim. I like that one because you never obviously you can read a ball when it's shot, like where it's going to bounce. Like it's obviously going to bounce, 80% this way long and 20% short. The bubble just adds that factor of you never know where it's going to go.
Who knows? Yeah. It's the ball could bounce left, right, same time.
We might have to bring that
the Dream said RJ is about to pull a Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year, and then RJ says no, Joel Embiid Rookie of the Year. So
I like it.
Kareem says you got to get Jay Tuss for those rebounding drills.
Ooh, that'd be a tough guy to hit. That'd be a tough
I don't think
guy.
he'd move very much.
We'll have to do a celebrity rebounding drill and get him in there. That's for sure.
Max Teams or Beal or Mason?
Man, I got to stay with my guy Max Teams. That's a no-brainer.
Shout out Max Teams.
Yeah.
He does a lot. He has a hard job in our practices because he refs, and Red, you ref as well, and Matt does as well. That's not an easy job.
No, it's not. These college refs who are getting yelled at by coaches in their ear, the whole it ain't.
Currently, the Kraken just had a game winner, and they're all wanting you to go crazy there. Caden's asking if we can get that's Kraken hockey, baby, from the main man, Tyson.
That's Kraken hockey, baby. That's our second win. That's very big for us. We have not been playing well at all.
Keen says, did Tuss fail the NCAA Roy?
Poor Tuss.
Waiter says Tuss would be like scrimmaging against wrestlers. Who knew this was just going to be coming to a roast on Jay Tuss? But
we need to bring Jay Tuss on one of these shows so he can at least defend himself.
There you go. Do you feel like he's taken some unnecessary shrapnel the last couple of episodes? Before we get to your final question, Tyson, David, I know the ticket sales are going really well. The interest is very high in this team. I know part of it is because the football team has struggled a little bit, but I've heard in the last couple of weeks more like can't wait till basketball seasons than I've heard in a long time here. Just with the tickets, the interest, what this team, I mean, how excited are you as part of the coaching staff just to know that when you come into Extra Mile Arena most nights and come out there right before tip-off, it's going to be a big crowd, and Extra Mile Arena is a game changer, man, and I know you guys know that, but traveling around to the Mountain West and stuff, I mean, when that place is packed and that third level is full, I hope fans realize, it's as loud in there as it is anywhere that I've been. And so what's the excitement level that it seems like that fans in the city of Boise have caught on, finally have some basketball fever, and it hopefully should be a lot of fun, and Extra Mile Arena should be rocking this year.
Yeah. For 7 years, it's just been building and building and building and building, and it's just trending that way. And we have all these external meetings and talking about, where ticket sales are, how, what we can do. Ticket sales are up 25% at this point from the whole year last year. And so the interest is crazy and deservingly so if you see this team and the type of guys we have. And it's going to be fun to watch, like Tyson Degenhart, Mountain West Player of the Year, out there doing his thing. Like, it's going to be fun to watch Buzo, like, see in year 2 how much he's improved and grow. And as a staff, we talk about out in the community, just at grocery store, people are jumping and rearing to see this team, and we have such a good schedule, and it's going to test us. But that home environment is so tough, and like it won us some games last year. That crowd won us some games, and how close games are anymore. That it's that's the difference in like an NCAA berth or not is that crowd.
Yeah, I mean, we've won 14 in a row at home since last year. I mean, we lost the first one, then won 14 in a row. So fans definitely make an impact. And I don't know if there was, remember the last time that we started selling season tickets at the third level. I mean, even
no,
like that's incredible to me. I remember we were doing video promo with that. It was Buzo, Max, and I, and we're doing Leon's Landing. I'm like, I remember my freshman year, we didn't even sell seats up here because no one would come to it, and they'd cover it, and it's crazy how far we've come in 2 years. So
it is. We're gonna have to shut season tickets off here in the upper deck here shortly, and just so we have some single game tickets to be sold. That's how crazy it is, and deservingly so. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: the Raines family, Naismith and Nelson Cairn, are, for the first time in our 11 years here, they are season ticket holders. So they are 3. They went with the Flex Pack, I think it is. So it was a great deal. It was like $125 a ticket, and they get a different ticket, a different seat to every game. But I know the boys are excited, and that was a cool thing that was new this year. They offered as well the Flex Pack, and so I know there's a lot of different ticket packages out there, and it is pretty cool to see the interest in this program, and it should be. Can't wait, man. Someone said they had the Vanguard game circled on their calendar. That's not something you would hear very often around here before. So by the way, Sam Winter's asking about they're talking about promos, and Sam says Burns bobblehead night coming soon.
Ooh, that's an instant sellout.
You need a Bernie with a headbutt. You got to be headbutting something though. I'm all ears for that. I need to get my hands on
his
one.
hand grabbing onto a set of ears.
It has to be RJ's ears.
Yeah,
RJ's ears for sure.
That'd be great.
By the way, Tyson, Chris wanted to know your golf handicap.
Door, it's a 13.1. I can, USGA.
So Keen saying +2 is incorrect then.
Keen's a liar. Like, you got to understand with Keen, you can't trust 90% of what he says. Unfortunately.
Derek says they sold out the mezzanine before we could get the Moats mezzanine promo. They were planning that and they didn't have time to get to that.
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming.
Gotta do some flex pass for something or the Moats mezzanine something. You're gonna come up with something like that, right?
That's right.
All right. So as we wrap this up, I ask this to every single one of my guests. It's the signature question of this show. Who is one person in your life that's made the biggest impact on you besides your close friends and family?
Besides close friends and family, I'd have to say Coach Larry Shyatt.
That was my guess.
Yeah, he was at Florida with Coach Donovan, came over out to Wyoming. He was the head coach at University of Wyoming for a long time. He's had some battles with Coach Rice and Coach Usashi and Coach Duryea, all in different Mountain West arenas. But he's been a guy I can call or text, and he'll get back to me within seconds. And he sent me out to Florida. He said, "Hey, you're done. You're going to Florida. You're going to be a GA. You're going to have the time of your life. You're going to work for Coach Donovan." When I was done there, I didn't know what I was going to do. I applied everywhere, did everything. I got a voicemail from Shy that said, "Hey, I got you a job at Weber State. Don't mess it up. You need to be there on Monday." Like that was on a Friday night. And he said, "Hey, start driving. I got you a job. Don't worry about it. It's with good people. We'll take care of you." So he's just been someone who, I can rely on and call and whatever. We're going to Clemson. He lives 30 minutes from Clemson. He's already set up a time for the staff to come over to his house and treat us to dinner. And he's just such a good dude. And he's a guy who, when I grow up in this thing and get older, that's how I want to treat one, the players, but two, other, managers, GAs, people who I'm helping out. I gotta give back to them and help them out.
That's very cool. I always heard the name Coach Shyatt when it came to Wyoming, and to know someone that's had, has known him for a long time. That's really cool. And is he coming to the Clemson game?
Oh, he'll be there.
I want to meet him.
Yep.
I want to meet him. So
he's an absolute stud.
VJ, any last questions for Red?
No, Kareem was saying Burns, aka Brian Daybell, the coach of the Giants. Folks were enjoying that. I guess Moats said that, or I guess Keen said that last time. So folks were saying they can't unsee that now.
It's true. It's true.
No, great stuff, Moats. We appreciate you jumping on. Like I said, it took 8 or 9 episodes for us to get you to agree to the compensation, but we made it happen, and I hope the check cleared. And we're very appreciative of you coming on, man.
No, the check cleared and it went straight out to all the Twitter people trying to get me back on. So appreciate you guys. And this was awesome. You do a great job.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think of Tyson? He's as I said, he's kind of like he's like a NASCAR driver with all the logos on his shirts and stuff for the different sponsorship deals he has. But for a guy that just turned 21 to be doing what he's doing and managing the business side, not letting it affect the basketball side, and be hosting his own show and stuff. What do you make of Tyson?
No, this is what NIL is about, growing in different spaces and figuring out, can you do it, getting a platform, getting experience. I've watched every single show, by the way. I've been in the comments. I'm usually
number one fan.
Yeah. And so all these shows have just gotten better and better. And this has been a dream come true getting on this show. I've been in the comment section doing my job. And
there you go.
Now
we had Jeff Goodman asking about it on the field of 68. We had Jeff Linder, the Wyoming coach, saying he wants to come on the show. So it was the talk of Mountain West Media Days down there, wasn't it, Tyson?
I think I had 3 or 4 people. I had Bridget from the Mountain West podcast asked me about it, and so it was like 3 or 4 people that asked about it, which is really cool because I never know how big these things can get, and to reach a national audience like Goodman and talk about it there has been really cool. So
there can't be many players, college basketball players in the country who are doing this.
I think like Drew Timmy, I remember he did the Gimme Timmy podcast, but other than that, like I don't know of any. I think Hunter Dickinson does a podcast, but
yeah,
I don't know many others.
That one's a little off the rails. Like the behind the scenes look and how you guys are doing it. That's what this is made for. That's been awesome.
Well, we appreciate you. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate you coming on and get after him a little bit at practice. Come on, he's doing his own show. He's feeling good about himself. Give him an extra sprint or two or something tomorrow at practice. Come on.
He just needs to go to the offensive rebounds, get that 80% up. We got to get above 80%.
I had a nice little O rebound today. I got the O rebound. It was a long one. I pitched it to 12 and he hit a 3. So.
Hey, that's what happens.
That's what happens. I always find Max on every offensive rebound somehow.
Appreciate it, Moats.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Red. Appreciate it.
All right, there he is, David Moats. Appreciate him for jumping on. And great stuff, man. We went over the time again. That's 2 episodes in a row. It's been so good, and the comments have been so good. We haven't been able to end it. But Coach Moats, man, pretty cool, too. Like you said, started as a high school kid in rural Wyoming, working his way up and gets to be a manager and then be on the staff at Florida and be part of a Final Four team and then, work his way up and get to now Boise State. I remember talking to him several years ago about how, he was looking to he'd been at Boise State a couple years, looking to maybe make that next jump. And he's been able to earn the promotions at Boise State and stick around. And I know behind the scenes for you guys, he's a big part of what you guys do.
Absolutely. He does, obviously the rebounding thing, but he's always done, meals and stuff. He's still part of a little bit of the Dobo in him is still showing there. And he's just one of those guys that you just always want in your staff. He always does the little things. And as he showed, he's a star in his role. And we can't thank Red enough for what he does for our program.
Well, we appreciate everybody for checking us out. The plan, I believe, is now to go kind of more to once a month here during the season. And Tyson, I believe, is at November 14th, I believe, will be the next episode. It is the Tuesday after the San Francisco game before you guys head out to Clemson. That is the plan, I believe, as of now. We're looking at maybe Max Rice, maybe getting Coach Wright, Leon back on. We got a lot of different possibilities. You guys will have 2 regular season games under your belt. So that'll be about 3 weeks from now, correct? That's the plan?
Yeah, 3 weeks from today. I think that's the plan. And because that's right before the Clemson trip and should be a perfect time for it.
Hopefully you guys will be 2-0 at that point.
Yeah. And Max has been wondering about when he's coming on the show. So hoping
he's got to put up some numbers, man.
Hey,
you got to produce to come on the Tyson Degenhart Show.
He produced last year. That's for sure. He deserves it.
I think Sam Winter needs to come on as well. With
Sam Winter definitely needs an appearance as well.
We need in the Vanguard game, Sam needs to hit 2 shots. If he can hit 2 buckets in the Vanguard game, we'll bring him on. Is that fair?
I give him 1. We'll make it.
If Sam Winter scores against Vanguard, he's coming on against. He's coming on the next week on the show. I think that's fair.
I think that's very fair.
Chris says need Burns on the show. We already had Burns on the show. You missed it. Come on.
I'll send you the link, Dor. I'll send you the link to that one.
Yeah. But no, great stuff. Appreciate it. We'll see if the Phillies can rally here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
They already have 1 out.
1 out and 1 and 2 counts. So, and your Mariners closer, your former Mariners closer, now on the mound for the Diamondbacks. So
it's time for Paul Sewald to pitch. If you're on baseball Twitter, you see that meme everywhere.
Oh man. Hey, really appreciate it, Tyson. Someone earlier had mentioned that you're much more polished now. I agree. You're doing a great job, man. So keep it up. Stay healthy. Good luck against Weber State in the scrimmage there, and then we'll be talking to you again after the San Francisco game.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for helping out, and excited to keep this thing rolling throughout the season. I think the in-season episodes will honestly be better. A lot more
Agreed.
to talk about.
Having actual games to talk about are going to be awesome. Thanks to Idaho Central Credit Union for sponsoring this. ICCU.com. Find a branch near you. There's one on pretty much every corner. The best in mobile, e-branch, online banking. They make it so easy with all the different things that they can do. And so check them out. Make the switch today. We have our car loan through there. We have our personal, our savings, our BNN. It's all just so easy to move money around. And we're very appreciative of them for sponsoring BNN and for making this possible with sponsoring Tyson Degenhart for their first NIL deal as well. So thanks to all the commenters. Thanks to all you guys for checking us out. We'll talk to you with John Mallory at 9 a.m. tomorrow on Bronco Nation News Live. We'll get you set for the Wyoming football game on Saturday, and we keep inching closer. 2 weeks from right now, we'll be on the post-game show after the Vanguard game. So basketball season, I'm going to say, is here. You guys are right in the middle of it with practice and things. The games are going to be starting soon, and we can't wait to follow it all season long at Bronco Nation News and on the Tyson Degenhart Show. So for Tyson, I'm BJ. Thanks again for checking us out. Have a great rest of your night. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News here at BroncoNationNews.com.